Hi Lenormand readers, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and today we are doing another pick-a-card reading, and I've got my charms back like some of you have requested. I've got a tiny tarot deck, I've got one dice, and I have a lock. So you can tune into whichever charm you're resonating with for the moment for this reading. And our reading today is focused on if you are on the right track, getting a sense of what you are working through, what is it leading to, and possibly if there are changes that you need to make. So this is a life path check-in, and it is focused on your direction right now. Now, I'm going to leave it up to you if you want to time box the reading, if you want to focus for a specific timeline for this reading. And also, I want to leave it up to you which area of your life you want to focus on, or if you want to just take it as a broad overall life path reading. So it can be your direction in a certain area or your life as a whole. And of course, the cards can suggest themes or come up with areas that they want you to focus on, or we can look at them in this way. There are many ways we can interpret the cards. So we'll see how it plays out depending on what you have focused on for this reading. I'm going to use one deck, Titania's Fortune cards, and I'm going to use it for all three of the readings. And I'm going to be doing a 3x5 extended portrait. This is a simple like one map of cards, unlike the 3D card reading that I've been doing recently. I sort of miss those. They're really good extended portraits that have lots of details in them, and they have so many wonderful lines to read. So with this said, focus on your life path or your area that you want to look into for this reading. Pause the video if you need to focus on the charm of your choice, and I will see you in your reading. Okay, here is the reading for tarot, and I've got Titania's deck. We're going to lay them out in a 3x5. Okay, here we are with the 3x5 extended portrait for the tarot group, and we are seeing a number of things coming into the picture for you. We have the dog right in the center of everything, and the dog is typically a card of friends and friendships. It can also point to colleagues or siblings. It is associated with anyone in your peer group, so to speak. Now, we are seeing wonderful successes in the top row. We are seeing challenges in the last column, and there can be a fallout with this person here. And so your current path could be leading to that. But of course, it depends on the context. And on this note, I have to say that the context from these cards is pretty open. So it can be in your life as a whole, or it can be in a specific area. And as we go through the cards, we'll come up with all of these different ways to focus and read the cards. So I like to start off an extended portrait with some general kind of directions from high-level structures in the 3x5 layout. And I did talk about the dog as being in the center here, and it points to someone or some people, friends, colleagues, or siblings. So it is neutral as it stands, but it just brings into the picture the idea of relationships. Now, the first set of corner cards are very bright, and it is really nice to see the key as your cover card. The key is a card of success and solutions, but it is also, more specifically, it's about being resourceful and self-reliant. So this is a piece of advice that is coming your way, mainly because it's the first card. And it asks you to rely on yourself and not to be dependent, probably on others or on some context or specific people in some area of your life. And the key and flowers is lovely for creative solutions and thinking outside the box. So it's very likely that you are going to be able to break through. So the current path is leading you to new ideas, new options, and also to the ability to break through. And I appreciate these positive cards in the context of this column here, because in this column, there is the whip, and the whip is challenging, and it T-crosses with the central row, where we're going to see that there is some kind of a fallout with someone or some people. And it looks like you're able to go beyond certain boundaries or grow out of a certain space or a certain environment, and this can probably help you break free and also embrace your creativity more. So if that's something you'd been stuck with, I think you can look forward to getting past it. Now, it does come with a bit of a turbulence that we're going to look at here, but maybe that's what you want. So if that's what you want, it is in your cards, but we'll get into more details. The cross and bear, this is a big deal. So I would say that this is really pointing to the life path picture in a bigger way as opposed to a specific area. Of course, it's up to you and what you decided to focus on for the reading, but in all cases, the cross is about life lessons, destiny, important decisions. Sometimes it can be a bit tough because these decisions can be tough, and it can be about responsibilities. And really with the bear, there are some things that you need to live up to. It's like literally bearing with it, you know, like really having to carry and bear your cross. It's a very literal way. Now, what is nice about this is that it works actually pretty well with the key and flowers. And it does in the sense that you need to be more responsible for your life, for the specific area that you're focusing on. It's a bit like you are striking out on your own. And this can be a big step for you, and it involves breaking free from a certain level of dependence or collaboration or working in tandem with people. At this point, it looks like what you are working towards is breaking out of being part of a certain group or working with someone specific and striking out on your own. And this is a pretty big deal of a combination. This has to do with your sense of growth and empowerment, the idea that you're gonna step up for yourself, you're gonna be a lot more independent moving forward. And this comes with responsibilities, but also it seems that you have a calling, you're being pulled towards it. And I say that because the cross is a card of destiny, and it does have a spiritual aspect, as does the key. And the key is also in the corner cards. So it can be some pretty big steps that you're moving towards, like more independence, more self-reliance, more empowerment in this sense, and probably less dependence, less coordination, less being part of a group or working with someone, or maybe being dependent on someone. So just from looking at these general structures, you know, these corner cards, these cards that come in a position that sort of frames the whole portrait, we are getting quite a lot of insight into what you are heading towards, and that is a greater and deeper sense of independence and responsibility. So that is quite interesting. Now let's move into the lines. The top line is the brightest line, I think. Yes, some diagonals are really bright, but it's a very bright line, and it has some important combinations, mainly the mountain and child. To me, the mountain and child is an important chapter that is in the making, but at this stage, maybe you don't have that much visibility into it. But actually with the key and sun, this is all around clarity, breakthroughs, and the idea of having, foresight and insight and being able to see. So I think you are going to be able to see the importance of what you are working towards. And really the bear and sun are two very big cards. You know, the sun is an all-around, victory and success cards, and the bear is all about power and authority. And so you know that you are heading towards something big in your life. And the child is a really nice confirmation for the idea of a new chapter. So you are about to break through into something important, and I do think it has to do with stepping up because of the bear. Now, if you were focused on a specific area of your life, maybe it has to do with work. In this sense, the most obvious event is some kind of promotion, or maybe a new job, one that is that puts you in with more responsibilities, one that you grow in. All of these are possible. In relationships, I do feel that the message is going to be about separation, and we're going to get more from the coming lines. So moving on to the next line, we have the moon, heart, and dog. By themselves, these are really bright cards for relationships. But after that, we have the snake and whip, and these are very challenging cards for a relationship. So it looks like something that started out nice, sort of, falls through and doesn't work out. The order of the cards is insightful here, where it started off okay, but then you move on. And the snake and whip can bring up any number of challenges. The snake can be associated with envy, and I have to say, because it's close to the heart, that is pretty likely. I also wonder if the snake on the other side of these bright cards might suggest a level of shallowness and fakeness even in some relationships. And with the whip and snake here, you could be really breaking out of this. So as you grow and as you embrace a bigger side of you, more responsibilities, it's like you don't have time for BS anymore. And also, you are aligning with more authenticity in your life. And that can lead to sort of decluttering, relationships that aren't really supportive and helpful. And, they're not really fitting anymore, maybe with the vision that you are working towards right now. It's very clear from the second line that some relationships fall through. It can be a specific person, it can be a group of people, and it can be in a number of areas of your life. It depends on your specifics and on your focus. But the message here is really clear. So a pretty challenging line in contrast to the top one, but they could be complementing each other, where at this point, there's no room for the shallow, the fake, and the BS, and you're embracing a bigger side of you and moving into this important life chapter here. You don't want distractions and the frivolous stuff. And like we said, envy is also a possible thing. Now the bottom row is also a little bit challenging. We don't have challenging cards like the whip, but we do have the coffin and clouds. And with the book, I'm seeing a sense of mystery and things that are unknown. There's a lot of indecision here, mainly because of the cross. And it is a good idea that you hold off a little bit until you have more clarity. It's really nice to see the flowers on the other side of this line, because the flowers is a card of all-around success, joy, and optimism. And in the context of these cards here, I do feel that there is like an insight that comes into the picture, and you find your sense or your direction, and you have a sense of, I would say, confidence that comes back. Because these cards, they're pretty interesting cards. The book and the clouds, I would say, has to do with not really knowing what to do. And with the coffin, there can be a sense of being on hold, even maybe paralysis, where you're just not sure what to anticipate and what to do. And the cross adds to this, because the cross is a card of burdens and decisions, and it's like here you're stuck. You're stuck and you're not sure how to move. But then with the flowers, this stuckness here is broken, and you have a sense of enthusiasm and joy and optimism that comes back into the picture. So hang in there, because you are figuring things out. It's a bit like a Rubik's Cube, where things need to sort of shuffle around and fall into place, but then they do, and you have a strong sense of liberation here. I also think that it's likely that you've been putting off doing anything about this, and maybe you were waiting on a certain green light or the right time to break through and break away from this. And so it looks like there's a phase of having to deal with the time being, with the situation for the time being, and you have to figure things out. And so a few pieces need to come into place before you're able to break through into this new beginning. I do think, though, that it sounds like you're doing the right things. I've got this indicated from a number of lines and also from your corner cards. And so it looks like you are on the right track to release yourself from certain relationships. Now, I have to put it out there that if you are causing stress on a relationship, you could be causing a bigger problem down the line. Now, I can't judge for you if that's what you want or not, but it is a possibility. And so if you are putting pressure or straining a relationship, then it can sort of, something can pop and an issue can come up. If that's for better, great. If that's for worse, just take this as a bit of a cautionary note. And in this sense, you might want to lighten up a little bit and not cause, the burdens, and sort of lighten up as we see through the key and flowers, just being a bit more optimistic about the relationship. Okay, let's move on to the columns. We have lots of positive columns as well because we have quite a few positive cards. So the key, moon, and cross is a really beautiful line here. I think you can receive appreciation and honors. You could get an offer or a proposal, and it is really a combination of opportunity. And again, the cross adds a sense of importance to this, but it also brings the idea of having to make quite a big decision here. I do think that you've got everything it takes, and also these two cards are focused on trusting yourself and, not just your smarts and your experience, but also your feeling and your intuition, because this is important with the moon. And the cross is also bringing the sense of, matters of destiny and also your deeper sense, of your life path. So it's really important that you align with what feels right for you, with what you know is right for you, with what you want, because it looks like you are heading down this way and you could turn the corner and find what you want. So keep tuning into the sense of inner alignment. The mountain, heart, and coffin is an interesting triplet, I have to say. It can be a number of possibilities. I think the main thing that comes through is not just from the coffin on its own, but also from the coffin and mountain. And it sounds like someone was away and there's been an absence, there's been distance, and maybe that is what is contributing to the fall through down the line. Maybe you are too far apart and you're not able to make things work when it comes to a relationship, and you are wanting to do something about it. I also think what is possible through this line is that you are growing distant from someone or some people. It sounds like you are moving away, or you're not really into this anymore, into the relationship or the context that involves these relationships. It's like you are, like your heart isn't in it anymore. And so that's where you feel that you want to break through and move on to something else, something that empowers you more, that brings out your sense of strength and self-reliance more into the picture. So that too is a possibility. Now, the child, dog, and book clearly points to a new relationship and someone you don't know. The book is, this card of mystery and the unknown, and the child is about new beginnings. And with the dog, it tells us that this is about meeting some new people. So it sounds like you're ready for a new connection, and that could be in your personal life or in some other area. In work, for example, maybe you're now up for, a different group of people to work with. You're outgrowing a certain type, a certain environment, and some people. So you're ready to get to know people. The sun, snake, and clouds is tricky, but really the sun sort of saves the day here. And I do think that the sun is a bit like what the flowers does. It shines the light on the unknowns and the stuckness or the confusion or some mental stress maybe that you've been experiencing as you are, shifting away from whatever is represented by these people or directly by these people. So the sun is really nice here. A bit like the coffin, the snake is also asking for a bit of patience. And, it is the opposite of being aggressive. So as you think through matters, give yourself time, be patient with yourself. Things are, again, they're sort of being, they're falling into place, but it's like in this process, you don't have a lot of control on it. So your best bet is to have awareness as much as possible, and that will certainly happen. The snake is also really good for being diplomatic and being clever and smart. And it also is a goal-oriented card, typically in a selfish and self-interested way. Well, self-interested is not negative, but sometimes it's outright selfish and, at the expense of others. So the snake can be really toxic in this way. But because it has some positive cards nearby, it can suggest that, you need to give yourself a bit of room and time to figure out, what you want and, make these decisions. So it's a bit tricky. It's also great for being diplomatic. And so until the time is right, you don't need to, you don't need to strike. But what you do strike? We see this in the last column here. So the whip is a pretty aggressive card, and it's like there's like a build-up here. We have more silent cards before the whip, and so there's a bit of a build-up. And what I do think this build-up is about is really figuring out what you are going to do next and your next step. And once you do, you're able to come out and, not just announce it, but also break away and announce that you're going to pursue it. So the bear and flowers is actually a really bright card, and it's nice to see the flowers also on the other side of the whip. It can help lighten it up a little bit. The bear and whip are quite tough. I mean, this can be an outright confrontation, very much unlike what we saw earlier. So again, it's not the first time we say this. We've said it at the outset of the cards that there is like a figuring out of the direction that you're heading into. And also that you've been patient and you've probably been bottling up something, and now it can, it can come out. So that is a good thing for you if that's what you want. That you've been maybe suppressing a certain unease or dislike or discomfort within a certain group or towards some people or a certain person. And at this point, you're ready to first acknowledge it to yourself, because there is quite a bit of thinking processes that we're seeing in your cards, and then to actually draw a line and make the point and move on. But again, I felt this is likely what you want because your corner cards are so positive, and they have, everything to do with this idea of relying more on yourself, becoming more responsible towards your ambitions, taking things into your hands a little bit more. It seems to be really the focus of your corner cards. And so when you do that, you tend to move past certain limitations or, people, places, involvements that are no longer, they don't work well with your new vision for yourself, with this bigger new you. So there are going to be some people, places, things, involvements, but in your 3x5 here, mainly people that you are going to move on from in order to embrace this new chapter that is so clearly captured in your cards. And it's a big deal, honestly, as we see from these cards. So I don't think you're up for distractions and shallowness and fake people and jealous people and pettiness and things like that. It sounds like you're ready to just, stop dealing with the BS and really just move on to, embracing yourself, your life, and taking care of your, your ambitions and the vision you have for yourself moving forward. So your path is leading to a breakthrough and a breakaway. And I don't feel that, I feel this is the right path for you. But again, I did throw in a possibility earlier that if you are straining on a relationship, it could sort of blow up. Now, I can't, like I said, make the assessment for you whether this is something that you want or not. Feel free to leave me your thoughts and your comments. I always ask for that if you want us to sort of, clarify a little bit these cards in terms of your specific context. I'd be curious to see if any one of you might fall in this interpretation. But in general, it sounds like you're in for more empowerment, more independence, and in the process, you're going to need to make some changes in relation to relationships mainly, and probably also other ones that are affected by this. The process is a bit tricky. It's like you have to work through figuring things out for yourself. And so this seems to imply some self-knowledge here and self-understanding. And you want to work through that before you take actions in the physical world, if I could put it this way. There's quite a lot of knowledge and thinking and mind cards in this part here. And so I feel this is important, especially the bottom row by itself is quite a heavy duty in the sense that it's really focusing you on your priorities, on what you want. And you're going to get there. You're going to figure it out. But you are sort of working through it, and you need to be patient with yourself to figure this out. This is a quite a nice process in terms of your inner growth, your outer growth, your personal development. And so this usually entails quite a lot of self-knowledge, so it's worth your time. It is definitely worth your time to go within, maybe do some diary work. It might be good to jot down some thoughts, write your goals, just sort of do a bit of dumping maybe, it would be helpful for you to uncover these great ideas that are lined up for you. So I think some really bright cards and breakthroughs, breakaways is where you are heading, and a new chapter that involves more empowerment, growth, and more creativity, more you coming out, if I could put it that way. When I look at the three central cards here, and notice that in an extended portrait, we have three inner cards, and then we have the frame. These are not great for a relationship. Like we saw, the snake and heart brings out these toxic emotions, and we have the dog in between. And the snake is on the right. So yeah, it is mirroring what we saw in the middle row, that a relationship is likely to fall out. But the thing about the three central cards is that they are central. So it is in focus, and that is very much where you're headed. Other lines we could look into are the diagonals that I like to read. We've got the two big ones. So this is like, the snake is really what throws this line off. But it is very much a combination of silence. And so again, I feel that it is, until you've got the right solutions and the right answers for yourself, I would say keep your mouth closed. And also, there can be some other people of authority, maybe people that mirror the dog in the middle here, that, some people you're not gonna tell anything to until it is the right time. So again, I'm seeing this, this accumulation of energy before it sort of comes out. And it has a lot to do with this, you figuring out what you want, what you're after, understanding yourself better. And this is a really nice line for unlocking your potential and, deciding and figuring out what you love. So this can be an important breakthrough. And then the other one is the crossed heart child into the snake. And again, we have the snake here, but actually it's, it can be a bright line. Certainly this side is great because you do figure out what you want and you do move into this new beginning. But the snake and flowers can point to this shallowness that we saw And again, it is like this part of the breakaway here. And but again, you know, the snake is a card of silence. And so before you express or you come out or take the actual step, there is this buildup, you know. And with the cross here, you have to bide your time a little bit. We've got the moon, mountain, into the dog, and then the clouds and whip. So these lines, they have the dog with them in them, and the clouds and whip is a challenging card. So here we see, you know, probably the confrontation. And with the moon and mountain, again, I'm seeing there could have been some time apart or, you know, some kind of distance. And we see like the confrontation and probably the fallout here. And then we've got the moon, coffin, into the dog, sun, and whip. And again, I feel there is like a liberation that comes through, mainly because of the sun. But, you know, the whip is at the end here, and it's part of both of them. And we do have the coffin, and with the moon, this is a cycle that closes. So, again, you know, the dog is pretty central in the whole extended portrait, and it really focuses on this idea of outgrowing or breaking away from a certain relationship, some relationships, or a specific context, because you're pursuing bigger goals and you want to, you know, you want to make room for them. So like I said, you are headed towards a breakthrough and a breakaway into an exciting new chapter. There needs to be some thinking that you need to do, pretty serious thinking here before you take actions. And, you know, bide your time and be patient with yourself as you figure things out. So pretty exciting if you ask me. Let me know how you're resonating with these cards. Let me know if you focused on a specific area or you feel that your life in general can sort of turn around at this point. And if you feel like there are some people that you've outgrown that you're ready to let go of at this point, and how you're going to deal with it. Very best of luck with this pretty amazing spread. Focus on your ambitions, embrace what you love, and leave me your comments. As always, I look forward to them. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and take very good care of yourself. Okay, here we are with the Lock Charm group, and I've got Titania's Fortune cards in this lovely deck, one of my favorites. And let's deal out your 3x5 to see what is your current path leading to, any changes that you need to make. Let's get into this all-important question. Okay, let us get into your cards here. I think some combinations should stand out for you. Look at the woman and the man at the corners here, and look at the beautiful sun right in the middle of your 3x5. It's really nice to see it after the whip, I have to say, because it helps with overcoming the challenges that are brought by the whip. Just from this overview, I feel that you are on the right track and you will be on the path to success. If you're not already, you are going to achieve your goals. Is very clear to me from these cards. There is a bit of a challenge that is happening here around the whip, but it's really nice to see it in the earlier parts of the reading, because that helps you overcome the challenges in order to achieve the goals. And we're going to see what these challenges are about. So apart from the beautiful sun right in the middle, which delivers success and wish fulfillment and happiness, and also really confirms that you are on the right track, we can also look at the corner cards. So it certainly stands out that we have the woman and the man in this corner, in these two corners, and in this column here. But we also have some very beautiful cards here, the bear and flowers. Normally I read them across diagonals, but we can also look at the cards in other ways, because sometimes the cards really help you, you know, like they stand out in a way that they help you interpret them. So the bear and flowers is all around success, and also success on a big scale. The idea of being creative and pursuing a meaningful career, as we're going to see with the lily, is very much in view in this column here. The lily is also a broader card for your life, your career in general. So it's not just limited to what you do as work or your vocation, but it's really your life in general that seems to be, you know, in a feel-good place, and that's where you are heading. So the woman and flowers can actually bring back into the picture a relationship. The idea of the past is very clearly present in your cards through the Tower and in the earlier, which is in the earlier parts of the reading. We also have the Whip and Sun. So I feel here what we could be looking at is a past issue that is resolved. And I bring this up with the Flowers because the Flowers is a card of return and renewal. It tends to suggest forgiveness, something coming back, something that was away comes back into the picture. Because it's associated with spring, it is associated with this idea of return. So a woman comes back into the picture, or perhaps you are the woman and there is like a renewal in your life, but it does seem to be in the context of a relationship because the other corner cards point to an important relationship here with this man. So the idea of a relationship is very strongly captured in the corner cards. And with the Bear and Flowers, we are looking at the renewal of a relationship. And this is going to stand out very strongly in the second row here because of the past element that we are seeing with the Tower. So a relationship is very much part of the picture. And in terms of your path, you are heading on the right path and it is going to lead to success. More specifically, there is an issue that you are going to overcome and it will help you heal the past and reestablish the relationship. So very, very positive. Now, the relationship can be a personal one or it can be another one in another area of your life, possibly your work, because we've got not only the Lily, but we also have the Fish and the Tower. And actually this outer diamond here can really point to your work and your long-term security through your career. And it seems to be heading in a generally good place, but with the bird here, there might be a conversation that must be had. And I think this is what's going to help clarify some matters that you overcome and so that you're able to continue pursuing your success. So there are some themes that are standing out for you in this 3x5. So with this said, let's get into the details of each of the lines. We have the Woman, Tree, Fish, Fox, and Bear. So the Fox is another card of work. The Fox and Bear is about managers and bosses and people who have more responsibility. And with the Tree, we have another confirmation of growth. And the Fish is really positive for your material success. So this is a wonderful line for all things work, career, money, and income. And it does look like you are on the path to more money, to more responsibilities, possibly to a promotion, growth in a practical and material sense, whether you have your own business or your own job or some kind of other activity that contributes to your life and your security, is on a wonderful track of growth and success. You know that the Fox can be a little bit tricky sometimes, but in the context of work, it's quite good. And it's also really good with families, actually. The idea of being focused and disciplined is highlighted here. You know, managing money well, managing your work well. And it's also really good with being self-interested. So I think that's a good thing when it has positive cards and in the context of work, because it helps you focus on your priorities and actually do the things that are leading to success. So the Fox is quite disciplined. You know, it knows what it needs to do. It is not distracted. It knows how to manage people with diplomatic ways. You know, it's a really practical, down-to-earth card. And with this line here, it's really good for your money, your growth, your success, and promotion and financial security as well. So very, very beautiful cards. Now the second row, very interesting message here, mainly coming through this side of the line. So like I said, the Whip and Tower points to an issue from the past. There could have been a fallout, there could have been an argument, a disagreement, but thanks to the Sun, the idea of healing and resolution is very much coming into play. And it is also the idea that the Sun comes after the challenging cards that also helps us really nail this and see the cards in this way. The Rider and Lily are lovely for goal achievement. So it looks like maybe your boat was rocked a little bit, but with the resolution, you're able to continue moving forward. These are great cards for achieving goals and milestones. And I would also say not just small day-to-day goals, but I would say bigger goals for your life and your life path. So very encouraging cards. Now, I think that the issue comes in the context of a relationship, because in this column we have the man and woman and we have the Tower, which likely points to a long-standing relationship or involvement, probably in the context of work, but not necessarily. And so this is what the issue was, and we see that it is resolved positively, and you're able to put it behind you and move forward. So a really good affirmation that you are on the right track and that the issues are going to be resolved. In the bottom line, we have the cards focused around the man. We have the book and bird, and then the anchor and flowers. This important message here is telling you that a conversation needs to be had. You're going to have an important conversation, and it's very likely that things were sort of silent or untold because we have the bird after the book. The bird is vocal, the book is silent, it's closed, and then on top of that we have the anchor and flowers, which is wonderful for confidence and renewal. And so here we are looking at a constructive and fruitful conversation that comes after a time of silence, probably due to the issue that you've had with this person. So these are really clear cards and positive cards. And what is really nice about them is that the way they figure in the 3x5 really helps us tell the story in a logical and coherent way. The events come in a logical way. So it's a really nice spread to see, really. And not to say anything about the sun right in the middle of it all. So this issue that you had, there will be an opportunity to have a conversation. And through this conversation, we see that there are positive resolutions. So let's move on to the second column. We looked already a few times at the first one, the tree, whip, and book. Again, this is where I think something comes out into the surface, out to clear the air. And I feel that, again, with the tree, just like with the tower, there is that sense of, and the book, there is that sense of time that has passed a little bit, that there was a phase of silence or just maybe waiting for the right time. And then with the whip and book, it can finally come out. Just like we saw a little bit with the bird on the other side of the book. The issue with the whip is that it's challenging. So it can again highlight this idea of a conflict or an argument. And maybe after that, there was like a phase of silence, which would make sense. The fish, sun, and bird is wonderful. A wonderful message here. The bird and sun is typically the light at the end of the tunnel, and the fish is all about success in a practical and material way, but it can also have other indications. In relationships, it is also practical. It can point to attraction. I'm not so sure this is what the relationship is about, but it might be, and it is very much focused on your ambitions. Because it comes after what we saw here, again, the idea of a positive conversation is very much highlighted here. And notice that the bird is in the middle column and the T-cross is the bottom row, where we saw that there is this constructive conversation that comes through. With the sun, it is very much about clarifying matters and coming back on the same page, agreeing, all of the good stuff that can come out from understanding. And with the fish, it can refer to, the positive things that are happening for your work. So if you've had an issue with your career path, your business path, issues on the job, issues with practical matters mainly, you can look forward to resolving them with this person such that you can move forward and continue achieving your goals. And again, I really feel you are on the right track. This is just like an issue that needs to be resolved, and it will be. The fox, rider, and anchor is another affirmation of goal achievement. This is about landing and arriving with the rider and anchor. And with the fox here, it is very much about being focused on the goals and being self-interested and working on the things that are leading you to success. Again, it's another suggestion to focus on what matters and to be disciplined about that, because that is what is going to get you to achieve these results. And the bear and lily and flowers is wonderful for your career, for your life in general, and for your goal achievement and milestones. The flowers is an all-around success card, The bear is a card that makes everything big and important. And with the lily here, it can be about achieving a certain milestone or maybe a few of them in your life. And so you feel that there is a sense of abundance and fulfillment, like you're feeling accomplished, like you feel empowered from what you're able to achieve. So very, very beautiful cards. The bear and lily can sometimes point to legal matters. And I have to say that the tower is also associated with these things. So maybe some of the things that were at issue are in relation to contracts, agreements, terms and conditions and things like that. And they are dealt with in a more or less formal way. And there were issues with that. And these are the ones that you can look forward to resolving. And so this gives you a whole lot of empowerment, and also it enables you to achieve your goals. So some very, very bright messages here for you. And really, the whip is easily overcome by the dynamics in the rest of the extended portrait. It is in the earlier parts, so it will be overcome, and there's a lot of bright cards around it that help with resolving the issues that it brings up. So some lovely, lovely cards here. Definitely a positive affirmation that you are on the track to achieving your goals, and the issues are going to be resolved likely in your favor, but also I'm seeing in everyone's favor, and your path is leading to success, and you do, achieve that. There is a focus on a relationship, but there is also a focus on, the practical aspects of your life and work. So maybe this is happening on a big scale across your life. And really with the sun in the middle, which is a big, overview kind of card, that could be the case. This can be about your life in general. So very, very positive messages here. Let's look at a few diagonals before we close. In the main two here, we have the woman, whip into the bird, and then the rider and bear. The whip and bird can be typically gossip, but in this context, I feel it's more about the argument or the issues that come up. And it's really nice to see the rider and bear afterwards, because the rider is a card that flows. This is someone who takes things in stride and doesn't hang on. So what we're seeing here is that you're able to clear the air and move on, and it is going to give you a sense of empowerment. It's like at this point you are up to the conversation and you really need to get things clarified, and on top of that, it does contribute to that next level of growth that we see is in your cards. And then the man whip into the fish, rider, and flowers. Again, this is a beautiful message of recovering from the challenges here, and it does again point to practical and material success that comes out of this this issue and the resolution of this issue. So another set of beautiful cards. The rider and flowers and the rider and fish are great for success. The tower tree into the sun, anchor, and lily is a lot of stability. The tower and tree and the anchor and lily are both, all four of them actually, are strong, stable, solid cards. It's really nice to look at the diagonals, because sometimes you miss these strong combinations, but when you start weaving the lines, you start to pick them up, and then it sort of jumps out. You're like, oh, wow, that's amazing. These are four of the most solid cards of the deck. And on top of that, we have the bear. So again, this is such a clear confirmation that you are on the right path and that you're building something real and really solid. This is definitely going to lead to success, and it's a wonderful message. So keep doing what you know is right, because you are on the right path and you're building something real here. So stick with it. And in the other one, we have the Tower book into the sun, fox, and lily. This is a great combination for work and jobs, or if you're in business for yourself, it's that area. The Tower is also good with that. And the book is really about things that are closed off or mysteries, but with the sun, it's revealed, right? So again, we're seeing this idea of something that had been sort of on hold or not clear or not open for a while, but then it comes through and it really opens up the doors for you. And there's a lot of success in your cards, especially in practical matters. So I feel that this relationship can be in the context of work, money, business, administration, other areas, and the differences are resolved and there's understanding that is achieved, and you're in for success and it's resolved really in your favor, and I think for everyone's favor as well. So it's really win-win and leads to lots of success and positive resolutions, and also a sense of strength. Really, there's a lot of strong cards. These stand out, and the bear, the idea that you're solid. So definitely the path you are on is the right path. There is an issue that needs to be resolved, and it will be, and I think it will be forgiven, and then you'll have the momentum to continue moving forward into this wonderful path and achieve your goals, probably on a big scale. And with administrative matters, I think the differences are resolved, and you certainly gain advantage from this. Keep in mind the beautiful sun that shines the light on all of your 3x5 here, and the lovely cards in the later part of your extended portrait that lead to success. So these are all around beautiful cards for you, Lock Group. Let me know what path you're on. Let me know what is this issue that you are working to resolve. Maintain the optimism and the positive attitude, because it is going to be resolved positively for you. So as always, looking forward to your comments. Leave me your thoughts below. I am very much looking forward to them. Thank you so much for tuning into this reading. And as always, until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Dice Group, welcome to your reading. Let us draw your extended portrait, 3x5 cards here with Titania's fortune cards. And let's see what is your current path leading to. If there's any changes that you need to make, it is quite an important question. So let's go ahead and deal out your cards. Okay, Dice Group, here we are with your 3x5. I am looking at this extended portrait, and I think there's a lot going on here. I am really drawn to the tower in the center of it all. The tower is typically the card of the past. So it is really bringing up into the picture what you have been doing so far. I am suspecting that changes from the current path are ahead. We've got the scythe that is very close to the tower, and we also have the child that is on the other side of the tower. So I feel there could be a pretty significant change that is ahead for you on the path. So it looks like you're going to need to change direction or adjust your direction in one way or another. What also stands out are your corner cards. Your corner cards are fabulous. We have the star and key at these corners here. These are two wish fulfillment cards, and they really bring insight and realizations, and they're also very supportive of your ambitions and your sense of faith in yourself. There's also a strong message of being self-reliant and resourceful, so you can look forward to achieving your goals. At the same time, in view of your tower here, and we are going to confirm all of these messages when we get into the details, I think in order to achieve your goals, you're going to need to make some changes. The other set of corner cards is also really aligned with what we're talking about here. The ship and cross is about the direction that is meant to be for you. And this is really about where you're heading, and this is important. And so the cross with the ship really help confirm that. This is meant to be, you are meant to be on a certain path, you are meant to go down a certain direction. I do think it is going to lead you to success, but I also think that it looks like there are going to be some changes that you are going to need to make in order to really achieve these goals. So with this said, let's get into the lines here, looking at the rows and columns and beyond. With the top row, we have the ship and child, and then the woman, clouds, and key. So this is a new direction, okay? This is, yes, the ship can be about travel, but it's not really what we are focusing on. Maybe travel is involved with your current path, but the ship and child is a very important message of a new direction that is opening up for you. And so this also aligns with what I suspected, that there needs to be some changes with your current path in order to achieve your goals. The woman, clouds, and key is about finding solutions. It's really nice to see the key on the other side of the clouds, because the clouds can be a nebulous card, points to confusion and matters that are not clear and things like that. But the key enables clarity and opening up matters and having a sense of understanding. So it is a very good card for enlightenment, finding answers, finding solutions. And the woman can be someone who helps you with that. She can be yourself. And in all cases, you land on the right understanding of what you need to do in order to achieve your goals. So it can be someone who helps. At the same time, the woman on the other side of the child can be a new relationship. But I also noticed that the woman T crosses the central column, and the tower and flowers point to a renewal from the past. So someone comes back into the picture and probably offers you answers into this new direction that you are going to pursue, or maybe some changes that you're going to make to reestablish yourself on this path. So solutions are at hand. I would say spend time thinking about this, brainstorming, really digging in, to find the right answers for you. The second row is actually a really beautiful line. The mouse is challenging, but it's not too challenging. It's a little bit challenging. The mouse tends to point to stress and losses here and there, little issues going wrong here and there. But if you leave the mouse unchecked, then it can grow into something bigger. But if you are going to manage it when it's small, it's going to help contain it and resolve the issues. Now these cards here, we've got the Lily, Tower, and Bear. These are important cards. These are cards that point to a sense of security over the long term. It points to your long-term picture. It is also about administrative matters, legal matters, and such things, official matters. So maybe you've been struggling with some issues in this regard, but because of the heart at the end here, and the heart T crosses this lovely column here with the key, which brings solutions, there is going to be a positive resolution. The tower being the long term and the lily being about your career and your life path, I do think that with the mouse here, again, there is something that needs to be revised. Something needs to be put into question, which is also what we saw in the top row with the clouds. The idea that something needs to change or adjust in order for you to pursue your goals and to achieve them. And it looks like this is a long-term thing. This is not just, in a few days, a few weeks, not even months. I think this is really the bigger picture of your life. So this is actually a really positive message that you are going to be pursuing the things that are meaningful to you, achieving the bigger goals in your life, growing, establishing yourself. In work and business, you could be looking at a promotion or some sense of empowerment that becomes available to you. But again, this comes after making some adjustments. And I have to again emphasize that the mouse is not a big deal. It tends to be a bit annoying, but if you can resolve it, resolve the doubts, a few doubts here, you're going to achieve these big goals. You're going to be on the path that achieves them. In the bottom row, we are seeing yet another sign of something that needs to be adjusted, mainly through the scythe. Now the scythe, it's sharper and stronger than the mouse and clouds, and it is at a diagonal with this important line here. And so it can bring in a more significant change, maybe a decision, a sharp decision that you need to make about this. And we see from the earlier cards that you do this very successfully. The star and flowers are two of the brightest cards of the deck. They bring wish fulfillment and success. They're also wonderful for optimism. The fox can be about the job, and when I look at this column here, it can be a new job. I have to say, we are seeing work and career cards very strongly in your portrait. So you could get an offer here or a change that comes through, and you're able to change away from where you are currently. The scythe and cross is quite a sharp decision. It can bring an ending, and it is meant to be. And really with the flowers and also the other lines that T-cross these cards, we can see that this is a very positive change. And I also think that it's one that you want to make. So it feels like it will renew your enthusiasm and you're ready for a change. You want to do something different. And I do think it has to do with your work and your career in a broader sense. So we could be looking at a deeper change here that affects your life path and your career as a whole in a very bright way. And this is meant to be really with the cross at the end of the line. So these are some really nice messages suggesting that you're in for work change, job change, some changes in your life path, mainly in your career and your activity, as it were, that are going to put you on a better path to achieve your goals. So let's now look at the columns. We have the ship, mouse, and star. Again, I feel that the current direction is a little bit wobbly. We have the mouse and ship, the mouse is a bit of a troublesome card here. There can be some gaps in your current path, issues that are not really fitting, that they're causing you to think about this, and that's a good thing because it will inspire you to make the right changes. And again, the star easily overcomes the mouse. So these aren't big deals, at least not for the big picture, and it's really worth noting that. This is a powerful message and a very clear message about a new job. The fox is the card of jobs often, and the lily is a card also of work and career. So when we see them together, they're highlighting this theme. And on top of that, we have the child, which points to a new chapter and a new job. So it can be a straight up new job for you. It can be something a little bit different depending on your specifics. But in all cases, we are looking at something new. So again, here in this portrait for you, Dice Group, we are getting the message that your current path is generally right, but there is a change within it that will make it even better. We talked about this column here. It can be someone from the past who comes into the picture to help you make this change, or it can be a new person who helps you move into this new job or this new situation. In all cases, I think she's a supportive person. Now, this is probably the more powerful or the more unsettling, shall we say, line of your portrait. We have both the clouds and the scythe, and we have the bear. What I'm seeing here is the big decision, the thinking, the important realizations that you're going to make. I think it's going to be critical for you to be sharp about your decisions and also to be clear about your goals. And once you have that clear and clarified, then you'll be able to make this change that we saw in the bottom row as well. So it's a big deal. Take these things, situations, this thinking process seriously, because it does impact your life in a big way. And your three central cards here, and these are within the outer frame of the 3x5, these are all about your long-term path, and there's like an official and a formal energy to these cards. So these are big decisions, they affect your security. They can even affect things like your pension planning and things like that, because all these two cards are associated with retirement and the long-term picture. So this is what we're seeing in this column. And finally, the key, heart, and cross is a wonderful message of unlocking first your potential, second, aligning with your destiny, and third, being in a happy place where you are pursuing what is meaningful to you. So really, I appreciate the confirmation from this line because it comes on the right side of the extended portrait. All of this is, the process that you're going through to land in this wonderful place of fulfillment and satisfaction with what you're pursuing. And it is very supportive of your long-term plan. And this is what we're looking at here. So your path in general looks okay, but some changes are in view in order to make your future goals more solid and to make them happen, and also for you to feel more aligned and happier while you pursue all of this. So a bit of first, a very bright messages, but a clear answer to the question, what changes do you need to make if there are changes that need to be made? So the answer is yes. And these can involve changes like a new job. They can involve changes within, how you go about achieving some goals, not necessarily the job, but these are important decisions that you need to make. So you want to look at this closely in order to put yourself on this long-term path of success, which is going to happen. So these are some really bright cards. Let's get into some diagonals here. We have the two main ones. We have the ship, lily, and then the flowers, bear, and key. This is such a beautiful set of cards for a renewal in your enthusiasm, in your sense of direction, and also an affirmation that you will grow and achieve big goals. Things like promotion and, more responsibilities, maybe seniority, like where you are, you become more expert, you become more established. All of these are coming through this beautiful line. And the other one is also lovely. We have the star and the lead into the woman, bear, and cross. So she can be actually quite an important person. We have the lily and woman, the tower and woman, and the bear and woman. And these can suggest that she's a decision maker or someone who is in a position of power to influence your path. And what is clear is that she offers you lots of support. And she can be sort of anyone in your life. I can't really, it's going to depend on your specifics. But the key is that there is someone who comes into the picture to support you with this adjustment or this change. She's someone empowering, and you've got her support, and she's got your back. And these cards are also more affirmations and confirmations that you're going to achieve some big goals. These are big cards. I have to emphasize that again. The central cards here, the star as an all-around wish card, and the cross, which is matters of life and destiny, and we have the ship, which is about direction. This is it's great that we're seeing these cards because we are asking a big question, like your life path, where you're heading, and what is it leading to. And I definitely see that with a few changes, or maybe some are bigger, some are smaller. It depends on your specifics. We're still seeing that you're going to be on the right path and achieve some big stuff, and put yourself on the path towards that. So it's time to grow. And I would also say it's important to get serious about this because it's a big deal. It's going to affect your picture, your life picture as a whole. So again, a very positive affirmation from the second diagonal. Now there's a few others. We've got the mouse into the child, tower, scythe, and heart. Now this one is the diagonal that stood out for me. And these are part of the cards within the inner portrait. And it's really this diagonal that stood out for me. The scythe and tower is a radical separation from the past. And the child points to a new chapter. So this is a clear line that tells us that something needs to change. You're going to move into something new. And that is like a turning point or an important step that you need to take in order to, be on the right path, the path to fulfillment, the path that enhances your long-term security, your long-term goals, and all of that. The mouse and heart can bring challenges, this combination more than the one with the mouse. The scythe and heart can actually point to a bit of a heartbreak here, and we'll also see another challenging card next to the heart. So there can be a bit of a parting or feeling like you need to let go of something, and maybe you're still hanging on to it a little bit. But again, I feel that you will overcome this pretty soon. Still, it's important to acknowledge the process, how it goes, and to be there with the changes and to build your will towards making it happen. The mouse before the child can mean that at first maybe you struggle a little bit with this new path, this new direction. It's like you're getting your head around some things, and that would work really well with this column and the clouds card. So there's a bit of a process here. The other one is the mouse, fox, tower, into the clouds and heart. So like I said, the clouds and heart can sort of muddy feelings a little bit of a heartache. It's not as sharp as with the scythe, but it feels a bit, a bit stressful on the heart, emotionally heavy, and with the Mouse and Fox, there is also a bit of a challenge here. So this actually set of diagonals, I would say, is the more challenging line in your portrait. The Mouse, Fox, and Tower can refer to a long-term commitment. I'm thinking job, work, or whatever your activity is that you've been with, and it sounds like it's been stressing you out, and maybe you're starting to question what it's leading to, which is really good, because that's what we want. We want you to put all of this into the right perspective and to think about this hard. And with the clouds and heart, maybe you're wondering if you're still enthusiastic about this, maybe your heart is not in it anymore, and it's sort of been draining you. It's getting to you at this point. So this would actually be a really helpful impetus for you to make a change, but do think about this. Think about, if what you've been doing so far is leading to feeling happy about it, or is it weighing on you? Is it starting to stress you out? Do you feel like it's not really growing? It's not really getting anywhere? Very good time to assess these things. This is what we want, because that is what's going to help you make that change, which you will do, which will put you on a better path, or a more authentic path for sure, because of these lovely cards, and also the one that's more stable, more solid, and really building you in stronger ways. So beautiful set of cards here that we're seeing for you. So dice group, you get the portrait that tells us that your path is going to lead to success, but that some changes need to be made. The two other readings, they were different. They had different energies. Yours comes with this clarity. So very helpful message. I hope you agree with this empowering way of interpreting cards, using them to help us reconsider, some things that we're doing, and checking in with where it's all heading. It's important. Time goes in one direction. We want to really take advantage of time. Interestingly enough, the Tower is the card of time, and it is figuring in the center here. So your time is precious, okay? Everything else goes up and down, comes and goes, but time just goes in one direction, right? That's why life is so mysterious in this way. So really appreciate the time that you have and the time that you've spent, and take stock of where it's all heading. Get serious about this, because if you're willing to be honest and to make the changes, you can be in for a lot of fulfillment, a lot of success on probably a big scale as well, and that can be and feel really exciting for you. And I want to remind you of your corner cards. I want to remind you of these, let's do this, these cards like this, okay, in addition to the Tower, right? Look at this. These are powerful messages. This is about your destiny. This is about the things that you want to achieve in this life. Make it happen. Get into the corners, get into the details, get into your thoughts, and make these changes. And I really feel that even though there's a bit of challenge here that we saw with especially this line here, this set of lines, I think you will quickly move past this, because these are small compared to the big picture that you're after, and the bigger picture and the changes that are going to emerge once you're on the other side of that. I really love this, how you land in a space of total alignment here. So dice group, these are some very powerful messages. These are very helpful. I really feel this way, and I hope you agree with that. I'm really looking forward to your thoughts and your comments about this. Be sure to leave me some. Let me know what changes you think you will make. What are the challenges that you're facing as you think about these things, and let me know what will be the outcome. So I'm really, really looking forward to your thoughts about this. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and take very good care of yourself. I'm so looking forward to our next reading together.